In a world growing smarter, stupidity gets more expensive. We don't chase con artists. We dissect the architecture of lies. Scams, fake platforms, empty promises. It all begins with an investigation. This is Scam Lab, where lies come to die. Fake NFT marketplace ArtChain is deceiving investors. Back when no one took cryptocurrencies seriously, a guy named Sam Bankman-Fried appeared, looking like he just rolled out of bed, or maybe never went to bed at all since 2012. His hair was so wild it looked like he got electrocuted, always wearing shorts that wouldn't even pass for college volleyball, and a shirt that seemed to have survived a bad wash cycle since the first Gulf War. But don't be fooled, dear reader. This biological anomaly is an MIT graduate, a physics major, and smarter than to take a shower. In 2017, Sam decided to do his thing, as professional scammers say, and founded a mysterious company called Alameda Research. It had nothing to do with research or science. It was more like a giant crypto casino where millions were bet, except the chairs had no wheels and the stakes were way higher. Alameda was a very secretive entity. Nobody knew who worked there. Nobody knew what exactly they did. But somehow, it made magic-like profits. Was it genius? Fraud? Both? Nobody knew. Yet, in 2019, Sam said, "I'm tired of Alameda's secret gambling. I want a public casino." So he launched FTX, a cryptocurrency exchange. Fancy, or at least that's what everyone was led to believe. Their slogan? Built for traders, by traders. The truth? Built for Alameda, by Sam. Sam wasn't planning a scam. He believed he was a genius doing things the right way. The reality? He combined Einstein's brain, a delivery guy's wardrobe, and a 19th century bank robber's ambition. In 2019, Sam woke up from a deep sleep, or so we thought, and said to himself, "I own a company that trades crypto. Why not create a full exchange?" Without any experience in exchanges, regulations, or even desk organization, the monster was born, FTX, or as it was secretly called inside Alameda's walls, the back vault. Sam realized that in crypto, you don't need a license, a solid bank account, or even clean code. All you need is a shiny website, a user interface that says, "We love transparency," while hiding a knife in your back. A catchy slogan like, "FTX, don't miss your chance to lose your money." In just 1 year, FTX entered the US market, acquired companies, sponsored sports teams, opened offices. Nobody knows who works there. Everything looked way too successful, suspiciously so. Sam sat in his office, usually on the floor, clicking buttons here and there, adding a tiny magical line of code that let him adjust customers' balances however he pleased. Meanwhile, Alameda was like a greedy wife whispering, "Honey, send me some cash. I want to buy a laptop." He replied, "No worries. Take $1 billion. From Sam's programming genius, which should be taught at the International Scammer Academy, he wrote a simple line of code giving Alameda permission to withdraw customer funds without any record. What does this mean? If Alameda withdrew $100 million, FTX would still show everything as all good. The system wouldn't raise any alarms. No one could track the transactions, unless they read the code, which nobody wanted to do in cryptoland. To complete the game, Sam invented a coin called FTT and convinced everyone it was the future of finance. In reality, FTT was like an "I owe you" note Sam wrote to himself, convinced people to buy it, then used it as loan collateral, and finally sold it to Alameda as a real asset. Sam didn't build an exchange. He built a machine to siphon customers' money and convinced them it was safe, all while sitting on a backless chair, munching tofu sandwiches, wearing the same unwashed shorts. Every exchange loves liquidity partners, companies that ensure there's always a seller when there's a buyer, and vice versa. But Sam said, "Why rely on strangers when I have my dear girlfriend, Alameda?" At first, Alameda acted like one of the thousands of FTX clients, trading, buying, selling like any respectable user. But behind the scenes, Sam handed it special keys. Imagine a restaurant full of paying customers, but one guest sneaks into the kitchen, eats everything, then walks out smiling through the back door. Sam didn't just hand money to Alameda. No, he coded a secret backdoor inside FTX that made Alameda an exceptional client. What made it exceptional? No withdrawal limits. No margin calls even if it lost everything. No real debts recorded in daily reports. Could pull billions from user accounts without triggering alarms. Sam said, "It's just a technical feature, nothing serious." The law said, "Come join us, in a cell without Wi-Fi." In less than a year, Alameda took loans, lost them in stupid investments, covered losses from FTX users' accounts, recycled stolen funds in a smart way. The formula was simple. If Alameda loses, it takes from FTX. If Alameda's in trouble, it takes more. If Alameda's dying, FTX funds it with users' money under the slogan, "We believe in ourselves." Where did the money go, glad you asked? It didn't go to system improvements or customer protection. It went to luxury apartments in the Bahamas, $70 million in political donations, $400 a night organic vegan dinners. Ask Sam, where did the customer's money go? He'll scratch his hair and say, maybe a bug, don't know. This fraud wasn't possible without handwritten code, a very cooperative CTO, and staff too scared to tell the truth because they lived in the Bahamas and wore shorts like their boss. Alameda was the inside man, raiding the safe while cameras were off, with the manager's permission. Sam didn't run two companies. He put them in a shady relationship where money flowed from FTX's lap to Alameda's pocket, like magic tricks in an Indian circus. Everything started with, what's wrong with helping ourselves a bit? And ended with, where did $8 billion go? Everything looks fine, from afar. But beneath the surface, financial hell was burning. In May 2022, a crypto project called Terra Luna collapsed, dragging billions down with it. Alameda was a major player there, and lost almost everything. Sam stood in front of the mirror and said his famous line, "We need to cover the loss, but from where?" Then looked at FTX user accounts and said, "Oh, that money apparently went unnoticed." Sam didn't think like a normal person balancing the books. No, he thought like an action movie director. If you fall into a hole, dig a deeper tunnel and call it investment. He moved billions from FTX to Alameda and told his team, just don't write this transfer clearly. Make it look like normal balance. Then started to expand more, announce new partnerships, make political donations, promote FTT as if it was digital gold. Sam's logic? The more we lose, the more we grow, so everything gets lost in the crowd. Every month, Alameda said, "We need $500 million. Sam replied, "Take $1 billion. Financial reports showed everything was perfect. Customers? They saw the app open, their balances safe, and said, "God bless you, Sam." The truth? Their money was on a one-way trip to hell. No return ticket. Remember that coin Sam invented, FTT? It was time to use it one last breath. Put it as collateral for loans. Give it to lenders like it was gold. Manipulate its market value himself by trading between FTX and Alameda. Everything was fake, but well staged. Sam wasn't running an exchange. It was a play. Investors? Just an audience clapping while visual tricks robbed their wallets. The closed fraud loop. 1. Alameda loses. 2. FTX funds Alameda with user money. 3. Alameda looks profitable. 4. Investors gain more trust. FTX raises new funds. Sam feeds the disaster again. Repeat 10 times and you understand why the end was so close. Sam could have stopped it all. He could have said, "We lost, let's fix this." But instead, he chose to paint the corpse gold and tell the world, "Look, my company is alive." Just like cheap movies trying to revive a dead character in part 2. One very ordinary November day in 2022, a junior editor at CoinDesk said, "Let me review Alameda's leaked financials. Maybe I'll find a joke." He found no joke, only a 3-layer digital disaster. 1. Most Alameda assets were FTT, the same coin Sam created. 2. All collateral Alameda offered investors was digital air. The relationship between Alameda and FTX was closer than your wallet to your bank, but without the bank. Once the article published, the world asked, "Wait, You're telling me Sam's company's wealth depends on Sam's coin, which Sam made and trades himself? Answer, yes, folks. Sam was trading with himself, on himself, by himself. Investors started sweating, but the one who poured gasoline on the fire was Changpeng Zhao, CZ, founder of Binance. He stormed Twitter like a detective and said, "Given what we learned, we will sell all our FTT holdings. We currently hold $580 million worth." $580 million of digital toilet paper? The crowd went wild. In just 72 hours, customers withdrew $6 billion from FTX. Alameda couldn't cover the demand. Sam ran barefoot through the office halls, looking for an undo button. But there is no undo button in the real economy. Sam, pretending nothing happened, tried to convince Binance to buy FTX. Tweet calm messages like, "Everything is fine, just temporary liquidity issues." Sip mango juice smiling at the camera. But Binance said after checking the books, "We buy companies, not black holes." Then they backed out. On November 11th, 2022, Sam officially announced FTX filed for bankruptcy, along with Alameda, 130 affiliates, and my hair that hasn't been combed since 2019. Date, November 11, 2022. Time, 9 a.m., collapse time. Place, Bahamas, FTX office. The only building nobody knows who works in. Sam entered barefoot, as usual, holding a cup of organic juice, and tweeted officially, "I'm sorry, FTX is bankrupt. We filed for Chapter 11 protection, thank you." Like someone closing a donut shop, not a $32 billion empire. Within a week, FTX International declared bankruptcy. FTX US collapsed despite Sam's reassurances it was independent and safe. Alameda Research followed like a toxic lover in a Mexican soap opera. And 130 affiliates joined the mass grave. The new CEO, John J. Ray III, a professional crisis lawyer, stepped in. He said a memorable phrase, "I dealt with Enron, the biggest energy scandal in America, and what I saw here was worse." Yes, Sam outdid Enron, Bernie Madoff, and every scammer in a slick suit. When they searched FTX offices, they found more sofas than office chairs, vegan meal bags, computers without password protection, money scattered in Caribbean islands, donated to politicians, spent on luxury lingerie for some employees. No joke, this was reported. While customers lost everything, Sam tweeted, "I wish things went differently. I'm sorry, I should have been smarter." Looking for new funding to save the platform. Like, cutting the neighborhood water pipes and telling people, "I didn't mean it, honestly." At least in a financial pyramid, people know the risk. Here, the front looked soft, silky, professional, legal, but inside was rotten like a moldy onion in a fridge closed since the Cold War. FTX was a masquerade party, an open invitation. "Come trade confidently, we're here for you." But at the end, they turned off the lights, stole the shoes, and left everyone barefoot, naked, stunned. After bankruptcy, ignoring what happened was impossible. FTX offices were a crime scene waiting for investigators. Former employees started talking behind the scenes. Journalists dug in, and people waited for details like an episode of Breaking Bad. The investigation team found strange lines of code on servers. Software allowing withdrawal of client funds without clear records. Complex mechanisms to mislead internal audits. Automated commands for huge transfers between FTX and Alameda. It was like a treasure map showing how $8 billion was moved from people's pockets to Sam and friends. Audits revealed huge donations to US politicians. About $70 million in campaign support. These funds helped avoid serious financial scrutiny inside FTX. A brilliant but shady move. Buy your political protection with customers' money. Investigations showed lots of money transferred to Caribbean accounts, tax havens, and luxury properties under fake names. Sam and his crew were not just online scammers, but global money magnets in the finest tourist spots. Some employees started testifying. "I knew something was wrong, but didn't realize how deep. They asked me to ignore internal warnings. I was afraid I'd be next." FTX's image changed from promising startup to swamp of corruption. Simple comment. This wasn't just a company failure, but a fantasy play written by fraud grad students. Sam wasn't alone. He was part of a professional team of masters of deception. Who is Caroline Ellison? CEO of Alameda Research. A girl who looked like a math PhD student entering the story like a funding shortage movie. Sam's girlfriend, sometimes lover, and partner in the biggest digital financial crime. At first, she appeared on podcasts saying things like, "I don't use hedging, I trust intuition in trading," and people applauded. Later, the world learned her intuition was funded by depositors' money. After FTX fell, Caroline had no choice but to make a deal with the government. Yes, she signed a cooperation agreement for a lighter sentence and started spilling everything like recording a podcast called How I Took Over the World. What did Caroline reveal? 1. Sam ordered her to use customer funds. 2. Transfers were done with his full knowledge and code involvement. 3. Alameda was under financial pressure since 2021, covering losses with FTX's money nonstop. 4. Coins like FTT were just accounting tricks to create fake assets. Sam still appeared on media, trying to save his reputation, saying, "I didn't know all the details." Things got out of control. But Caroline's testimony made everyone look at him and say, "You wrote that code yourself." After Caroline, Nishad Singh, FTX's lead engineer, Gary Wang, Sam's partner and co-founder, all said, yes, Sam knew, yes, he agreed, yes, he ran everything himself. Imagine, your crime partners come to the prosecutor and say, "We apologize, Sam was the mastermind." Meanwhile, courts gathered evidence, opened messages, retrieved company files, rebuilt financial records. Sam sat home, eating soup noodles and watching the news, then heard the judge say, "The defendant faces over 100 years in prison if convicted." Federal Court, New York, when? October 2023. Scene: Sam Bankman-Fried enters the courtroom with shifty eyes and oddly well-groomed hair for the first time since 2019. Charges against Sam, the prosecution wasn't gentle. This is not Twitter, buddy. The list included fraud against customers, fraud against investors, conspiracy to launder money, violations of campaign finance laws, theft of over $8 billion of user funds. The prosecution whispered to the jury, "If this isn't a con artist, then con artistry has lost all meaning." The sessions were intense. Caroline Ellison testified again. "Yes, Sam ordered me. Yes, he knew. Yes, he planned everything." Former programmers read Sam's own code that gave Alameda access to FTX accounts. Financial documents showed manipulation, deception, inflation, and embezzlement. Everything was clear. Even Sam's defense looked like a play without an audience. Sam stood and said things like, "I was busy, I didn't follow details. I'm sorry, I didn't mean harm. Maybe I misjudged, but I didn't intend to scam." Everyone looked at him like a kid trying to convince his mom, "The dog ate my homework." Prosecutors presented Slack messages and emails showing Sam gave direct orders to cover losses from customer funds, told to hide it from auditors and investors, called himself too smart to get caught. Yes, he actually said that. Verdict. On November 2nd, 2023, after less than 5 hours of jury deliberation, the verdict was guilty on all charges. The judge said, "This is not just business failure, it's major betrayal and a scam on a scale unseen for decades." Sam could face over 100 years in prison, but the final sentence was announced in March 2024. 25 years in prison. Sam didn't fall because he failed. He fell because he exploited people's trust, used his genius to build a huge illusion, and believed it himself. The play ended. The curtain fell. And the audience applauded, not in admiration, but relief that this nightmare was over. Today, we've uncovered the con artist's tricks, but the game is far from over. At Scam Lab, we follow the lies with a sharp eye and a sarcastic smile. If you enjoyed the investigation, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and ring the bell, because knowledge is your best weapon against the scammers. See you in the next episode.